Hey everyone, my name is Courtney Budzyn and this is What's for Din. Today I'm going to be showing you one of my favorite Nutella recipes, and that's Nutella Star Bread. And I know there's a lot of YouTube videos that already show you how to do it, but I had to make this recipe per request of 2 viewers of mine. Shout out to you. So let's go over the ingredients and we will get started. All right, so obviously you're going to need some Nutella. You're going to need some water that's at a temperature of about 115 degrees. You're going to need some yeast, sugar, flour, milk, vanilla extract, butter, and just an egg for the egg wash at the end that'll help brown the outside really pretty. So let's start off with the yeast. Make sure your water is at a good temperature and it's not too hot. Like right now mine's actually too hot. So I'm going to wait until it gets to 115 degrees. If you do it any higher or lower, there's a chance that your yeast won't activate, and it's really important your yeast activates. Otherwise, your bread's just going to be flat as a pancake, and that's not good. Who wants that? All right, our water is about 115 degrees, no higher, no lower. So we're going to go ahead and add just about 1 teaspoon or so of sugar, and this helps to activate the yeast. Then we'll pour the yeast in and give it just a very light stir. Let me get that all out of there. And then we're just going to set that aside while that activates. Now you'll know that it's activated by there'll be a ton of bubbles and you can just smell, it'll just smell like bread. So give it about 5 to 10 minutes. If it's still not activated, give it a little bit longer. And if it's still not activated after that, there's a chance that your yeast may be dead. So you might need a new packet, or your water was too hot, or your water was too cold. It's either or. So just keep an eye on that. And do not use it unless it's activated, or else it will not work. So to our flour, we're just going to this is real simple. Just add the rest of the sugar. And I'm just going to whisk this up so that everything is well combined when we put the wet ingredients in. So our yeast is nice and activated. If you take a look, it's puffy. That's what you want. You want it to look puffy like that. My husband was watching and he goes, "Whoa, it exploded." It's like, what are you, 5? It was cute though. So what we're going to do is we're going to add all the wet ingredients together. So I have my melted butter. Just going to go ahead and add the yeast mixture. Make sure I get all of that out. Okay. And then the milk. And then to that, a little bit of vanilla. It just gives a sweetness to the bread. This is a really simple bread recipe, but I just like to add a little bit of vanilla to everything. And then just mix that up a little bit. And then we're going to add this right into our dry ingredients. And I'm just going to make, whoa, it's raining flour. I'm just going to make a little hole at the bottom and dump this right in. And I'm going to mix what I can over here, and then we're going to transfer over to the granite because I'm going to knead it all by hand. Now, whatever you do, now see how this looks really crumbly and it looks like it's never ever going to get there. Do not be tempted to add more water because you'll ruin the dough. This is just the right amount. You don't need anything more, anything less. Just do not add. Just be patient and keep kneading it. And I'm actually going to start using my hands now. So I'm just going to kind of combine it and start to fold it in the bowl. I know what you guys are thinking. Just get a stand-up mixer, right? I just like being old-fashioned. Don't hate on me. So you keep kneading it. And now that it's sitting together, I'm going to take it over to the granite and we'll knead it over there. All right, so we got flour down on the surface we're going to be kneading the dough. And have ready a bowl with a little bit of olive oil set aside, and then I'm just going to wipe it with a paper towel and get it all over the edges so that when we let it rise, it won't stick to the pan. So have that ready. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out. And as you can see, I've rolled up my sleeves. You guys can do this in a stand-up mixer if you want to, but I'm just doing it the old-fashioned way. So you just do fold and push, fold and push, fold and push. This is a really good arm workout, I'm telling you. So you're going to knead this until maybe about 7 minutes this way, until it's all combined together. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's there. All right, this is what our dough is supposed to look like. I'm out of breath. That is not for the faint of heart, just saying that. But it is a good workout. So that's what it looks like. You don't want it to be sticky and you don't want it to be filled with flour, so I just pinch the bottom. And now I'm just going to put this in my oiled bowl. I'm just gonna move that around just so that it doesn't develop a skin while it's rising. And then I'm gonna put a slightly damp towel over this and set it right here on my stove. You want it to be in a place that's sort of warm, but not hot. You don't want it to be in the oven. So maybe you can put it in your microwave or just set it somewhere warm in your kitchen and let it rise till it's double in size, so about half an hour to an hour or however long that takes. So we'll come back when it's there. Okay, so our bread has been sitting for about 45 minutes, and so you can see it doubled in size. And when you push it in, it should somewhat spring back up, which you can see I've already done a couple of times. And the next step you need to do is preheat your oven to 350 degrees so it's nice and hot when you're ready. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make the star portion of the bread. So we're gonna put some flour on our surface that I just cleaned. And then not too much, but just enough. And you're gonna need a rolling pin and a plate that's like about just a perfect circle, because you're gonna need to use that to measure how you're gonna cut your dough out. And of course your Nutella. So we're gonna take our dough out and we're gonna deflate it, and I'm just gonna kind of push it down. And then I'm just gonna kind of roll it up. And I'm gonna cut this into 4 pieces. And you want them to be even. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so we're going to work on 1 piece at a time, so I'll just put these in the bowl while we're waiting. I'll use the big one for the bottom. So I'm just going to take this and kind of roll it into a ball. Gotta make sure our surface is floured a little bit more. And we're just going to press this flat. And you're gonna use the rolling pin, and you wanna roll it out until it fits the size of your plate. Okay, so now that that's all rolled out, I think it's about the size we need. You take your round plate, and as you can see, it's the right size, so I just kind of push down, and I'm just gonna make an impression on the dough, so I can just, that will be the spot that I put the Nutella. I actually kind of cut it. If that happens, it's okay. So now I'm going to take my Nutella, but now you can see this Nutella is too thick, so it's going to rip the dough if I try to apply it. So I'm going to throw this in the microwave for about 30 seconds to soften it a little bit so that it's easy to spread on the dough. That word. Okay, now our Nutella is softened, and it's going to be a lot easier to put this onto the dough. So we're just going to take a little bit of that, plop it in the center, and then you can either just use the spoon or you can use a spatula and just kind of spread that out. And I'll put the measurements in the description, but you can really use as much Nutella as you want. One time I used a whole entire jar of Nutella, and although the shape was compromised, boy, was it good. You cannot go wrong with too much. There's no such thing as too much Nutella. There's just no such thing. So we're just going to spread this out and try not to go over the line, but you want to get it evenly spread across the whole circle. All right, so now that that's spread, we're going to transfer this to our baking sheet. Now I just have a pizza pan here with some parchment paper on there, and it allows the heat to go underneath. But if you just have a regular cookie sheet, that's fine too. So very carefully, we're going to lift this up and put this on the baking sheet. Make sure the shape is not compromised. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing to the next layer. Okay. All right, that layer is done. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this layer very carefully. You may need the help of your husband, but since mine is manning the camera, I have to do it myself. Grab where it's thick, and you're going to plop that right on top of the other layer. And try to stretch that right over top. It doesn't look like it makes sense yet, but it will. Okay, just try to stretch that out. Just like that. Okay, we're doing the next layer. All right, so now we have the third layer on there with the Nutella, and I'm just working on the very top layer. So we're just gonna follow the same procedure minus the Nutella. Okay, so now that we have it big enough, we're gonna do the same thing and make the shape, just so that we have an outline. We're gonna go ahead and take this. So this is a lot easier when it doesn't have Nutella on it. And plop it right over top of all our Nutella. You can kind of stretch it out. Now I'm going to kind of bring this right over to where I was because it's easier to cut it on harder surface. And go right over top of everything we just did. And I'm going to kind of press firmly. And then with a very sharp knife, something like this, I'm going to cut along the outside. Pressing firmly. If you cut the wax paper, it's okay. You can just get a new one. Okay, take the edges. Put that in the bowl. And gently lifting up. So you have a perfect circle. Okay, so now that that's a circle, what I do is I take just any cup that has a circle top. You don't want it too big and you don't want it too small. I make a little bit, I just set my little wine glass here, just a little bit of an indent. You're not gonna cut anything out, but I just kind of leave it there. And what I do is I cut here, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Now see with the wax paper, it's easy to turn around. Okay, and then once you did the 4, you cut those in half. When you leave the cup there, it acts as a guide and it really helps. And then those in half one more time. Okay, and now that that's done, now comes a little bit of a tricky part, and depending on how much Nutella you put in, perhaps messy, but that's okay because at the end it just looks beautiful no matter what. So what you do is you take one of them, one of the little ends, and you twist 1, 2, and then you twist them away from each other. So you do this same on the other side, 1, 2, and at the very end, you take that, the ends like that, and you kind of pinch them together right at the end, just like that. And then you do that to the same thing, and you can do it at the same time. 1, 2, and then you just pinch those ends, and then just keep going down the line. All right, now that I have all the ends done, isn't that beautiful? It looks so pretty, and I didn't even bake it yet. So now that that's done, I'm going to place it right back on my pizza pan. I'm going to cover it with the same damp towel, and we're going to let it rise for another 20 to 30 minutes just so it rises a little bit, and then we'll put the egg wash on it, and then in the oven it goes. Great, so I've been letting this rise for a little bit, and so now we're just going to apply an egg wash all over it, and this just helps the color to be really rich and golden, and for it to be nice and kind of crispy on the outside. We're going to just gently wipe that. Okay, so now that that's nicely coated, we're going to throw this right into the oven, 350 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes or until it's all golden brown. Okay, so our Nutella bread is out of the oven and it smells like heaven. I mean, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And it really doesn't take much. It's just twisting things. It just makes it look so beautiful. So now I hate to do that. Well, no, not really. I don't hate to do this, but I'm going to try a piece and destroy it. The cool thing is you kind of can just pull these out, but I'm going to be nice and cut it so I get a fair share. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Hoo, hoo, hoo. I'm excited. Oh man. You want a bite? You know you do. This is so good. I could eat this whole thing. I'm surprised I'm not really fat. So if you guys want to recreate this recipe, go ahead and look in the description box where I have all the ingredients listed. And if you do remake it, share it with me on Instagram. I put the link in the description as well for my Instagram. So like and subscribe because I have many more recipes to come. And if there's anything in particular that you want to see me make, be sure to leave it in the comment box below. So thanks again for watching. See you later.